بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. الإمام الطبراني and Al-Bazzar collected a hadith on the authority of Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He said that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أنا زعيم ببيت في ربض الجنة. I am a guarantor. I guarantee a house in Al-Jannah. وبيت في وسط الجنة. Meaning the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith is mentioning levels in Al-Jannah, that Al-Jannah has levels. One is the highest station in Al-Jannah, and one in the lowest level. And then there is another one, I guarantee, on the middle level, and another one on the highest level in Al-Jannah. For whom? He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لِمَنْ تَرَكَ الْمِرَاءَ وَإِنْ كَانَ مُحِقًّا. For somebody, for a person who is well aware of making a decision of leaving out arguments, even if he is right. If an argument breaks out, and a debate that is out for the sake of a debate, for the sake of argument, leave it out altogether. Leave it for the sake of what? For the sake of what the Prophet ﷺ is guaranteeing you and I, should we leave out for that sake. Why? Because there is nothing good that comes out of an argument for the sake of argument. Because then all it is, it's all about scoring points against the person you're arguing with. And it's not about clearing or focusing on ideas or sharing or helping one another by clarifying information, by helping one another understanding concepts. This becomes very mandatory, so that there is a very thin layer between that, and it's a sharp contrast between a person who engage in clarifying. If you sit to clarify, to defend some of the aspects, for instance, of the religion, that becomes very mandatory. But that's only in the atmosphere where the argument is for the sake of getting to a point of clarifying what is ambiguous, what is not clear. In that regard, it becomes mandatory to really sit down and clarify and argue all the points, because then the focus becomes about the ideas, about clarifying the issues. But if it is just for the sake of arguing, person may very well be deluded even in the thought, to where it becomes more about bringing victory to oneself. So I don't look idiot, and I don't look educated. Now becomes more of a defensive mechanism than it is about clarifying. This is why the Prophet ﷺ says avoid that all the way. Why? Because there's nothing good that comes out of it. Then it becomes more of, it's like you are in a boxing match more than it is in an arena of clarifying. And he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and for he who وَتَرَكَ الْكَذِبَ وَإِنْ كَانَ مَازِحًا. And he says, a person who leaves out lying even if he is joking. And na'udhu billah, this becomes an industry of what we call comedy. Comedy for the sake of making others laugh while lying. And this becomes literally a huge industry that humanity has engaged in, without being aware of the fact that this is one of those areas that a shaitan feeds and makes it very appealing for both the one who engages in lying and in those who are encouraging it by laughing at the joke, knowing that it's a lie. So it's collective fault, and it's a collective misunderstanding to that concept. When the Prophet ﷺ says a person who would leave lying out altogether, for for the sake of avoiding a lie, or rather leaving a lie altogether, even if a person is joking, the Prophet ﷺ is guaranteeing the person that Jannah, this reward. A Jannah, you have a house in the lower level of Al-Jannah, and a house in the middle level of Al-Jannah, and a house on the highest level in Al-Jannah. And look at, subhanAllah, and the last one, وَحَسَّنَ خُلُقَهُ, and a person who brushes out on his character. We all know exactly where our shortcomings are, about when we need work in regards to how we speak. If there is any, we still have, we falter whenever we are triggered in the wrong way. And if we are frustrated, we start just speaking ill and bad language. That is not a character of a lot of loftiness that the Prophet ﷺ is talking about. And then husn al-khuluq is also the mannerism of conduct you have with those around you. This is because husn al-khuluq, when it comes to a lofty character of a person, who immediately benefits from it? Those around you. Allah does not get harmed by your bad character, but those around you do. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set many rewards. And one of them is what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is talking about here, is a person with a lofty character, whenever you deal with those around you, earns you these rewards. And putting the prize before your eyes, it makes you very well aware of acting so that you get this reward. Because this is a human nature. Whenever we set an incentive on a goal, then the goal becomes easy for us to get to, even if we run through obstacles and hurdles on the way. But if we don't have that incentive at sight, then it becomes very hard for us to be, easy for us to be deterred, and we drop it altogether. So the Prophet ﷺ in this regard is setting up a reward that is beyond our imagination for things that we can help. We can help. Leaving arguments altogether. Engaging in conversations that are unnecessary. Leaving lies. Lying and saying, you know what, I didn't mean it, I was just joking. This does not justify it. Leave it all together. You don't have to apologize for it at all if you don't say it at all. And the Prophet ﷺ finalized it by categorically saying that when it comes to a lofty character is what we should shoot for. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us husn al-khuluq, and to grant us the ability to leave a lie altogether, and to grant us the ability to stay out of arguments that are done just for the sake of argument. أقول قولي هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبي محمد والحمد لله رب العالمين.